There are addictions that scream, and others that whisper. One day, you realize the whisper has been guiding every step you take. By the time the television hums to life in a small Brooklyn apartment, it already knows her better than anyone. Else verás. Sarah Goldfarb sits upright in her chair, hands folded neatly in her lap, eyes fixed on the screen as if it might look back at her. The apartment is quiet except for the familiar rhythm of daytime television applause tracks. Smiling hosts, the promise of transformation packaged into half-hour segments. To Sarah, this isn't noise. It's companionship. It's structure. It's proof that the world is still moving, even if our own has narrowed to a few rooms and a routine measured in pills, meals, and reruns. When the phone rings, it cuts through her like a sudden gust of cold air. A voice on the other end speaks of a game show, of excitement, of possibility. Sarah listens, nodding though no one can see her. By the time the call ends, something has shifted. Not dramatically, just enough that she stands and walks to the mirror. The red dress hangs patiently in the closet, sealed in plastic like a preserved memory. It once fit her differently. It once meant something else. Now, it becomes a future she can almost touch. All she has to do, she tells herself, is change a little. Tighten here. Lo sé. Dere. Be ready when the moment comes. And so the first bargain is made not with desperation, but with hope. Elsewhere in the city, hope looks different. It wears sneakers worn thin at the soles, and moves with the restless energy of someone always planning. The next step. Harry Goldfarb is young enough to believe the world still owes him something, and old enough to feel cheated when it doesn't deliver on time. He moves through life with his girlfriend, Marion Silver, as if they're both slightly ahead of everyone else, smarter, more aware, temporarily stuck, but destined for something better. Marion's apartment is airy, almost elegant, filled with light and unfinished dreams. She sketches, designs clothes she imagines people will one day wear. Harry talks about business, about deals that will finally put them on the right side of the glass. They speak in futures, always futures. Their friend Tyrone joins them often, his presence quieter, steadier. He carries something heavier inside him, memories of a childhood where survival came before dreaming. He doesn't talk about it much. He doesn't have to. It shows in the way he watches doors, the way he never fully relaxes, even when he laughs. Together, they share a ritual, a needle, a brief, overwhelming sense that everything is finally aligned. The world sharpens, colors deepen, worries dissolve. For a few minutes, they feel untouchable. This is not chaos yet. This control, or at least the convincing illusion of it. Harry has a plan. He always does. The drug isn't the end goal. It's a means. A way to get money, to build something real, to escape the gravity of small apartments and disappointed parents. Marion believes him not blindly, but willingly. Belief, after all, is easier when it confirms what you already want to be true. Tyrone goes along because forward motion, even dangerous forward motion, feels better than standing still. Meanwhile, Sarah begins her own transformation. The pills arrive in a neat orange bottle, prescribed with professional reassurance. They promise focus, energy, appetite control. Sarah takes them carefully at first, exactly as directed. She cleans the apartment with renewed enthusiasm, talks more animatedly to the television, imagines herself stepping onto a stage bathed in warm light. She imagines her son watching. Every compliment she anticipates, every smile she rehearses, pulls her a little further from the quiet reality of her days. The pills help, they really do, or so it seems. When the hunger comes, she ignores it. When sleep becomes elusive, she welcomes the extra hours. There's so much to prepare. The mirror begins to approve. As summer stretches on, The rhythm of Harry's world accelerates. Money comes faster now. Enough to feel like success, not enough to feel safe. The high changes subtly. Less euphoria, more necessity. The needle no longer opens doors. It keeps walls from closing in. Marian notices it first, the way joy is replaced. Urgency, the way intimacy becomes something negotiated, postponed, dulled. She still loves Harry, but love begins to share space with anxiety. Her own habits deepen quietly. A pill here, a line there, just to steady the nerves, just to stay level. Tyron watches all of this with a tightening jaw. He has seen where roads like this led, but he also knows how hard it is to turn back when momentum is all you have. Back in Brooklyn, Sarah's television begins to speak more directly to her, or at least it feels that way. The hosts smile wider. The applause grows louder. Sometimes she swears they're calling her name. The pills are adjusted, increased, balanced with something to help her sleep. One prescription multiplies into several, each solving the problem created by the last. Her body grows lighter. Her thoughts grow faster. The red dress waits. Harry visits his mother occasionally, though less often now. When he does, he notices changes he doesn't fully register. The way she talks without pausing. The way her eyes dot. The refrigerator, oddly bare. E promises, com, buy more. He promises a lot of things. Promises are easy when they're aimed at the future. As the season turns, small fractures appear. A deal goes wrong. A supply dries up. The city feels less forgiving. Police sirens seem louder, closer. Tyrone's nerves sharpen. Marian retreats into herself, chasing a sense of worth that keeps slipping just out of reach. Harry insists they're still on track. He needs to believe that. If this isn't leading somewhere, then what has it all been for? Sarah's world narrows. Further, friends notice something is off, but their concern feels like interference. They don't understand. She is becoming something. She is almost there. The television reinforces this certainty, wrapping her thoughts in familiar music and reassuring smiles. Reality, when it intrudes, feels hostile. By the time autumn arrives, the routines that once provided comfort begin to demand obedience. The drugs no longer enhance life, they organize it. Every decision bends around the next dose, the next fix, the next moment of relief. Each of them feels at the sense that something is tipped, that the ground beneath their carefully constructed hopes is no longer solid. But acknowledgement would require stopping, and stopping feels impossible. Sarah slips the red dress over her head one afternoon and studies herself in the mirror. It fits better now. Not perfectly, but close enough to imagine applause. She smiles, understanding without fully admitting it, that the applause may never come. Still, she waits. Harry stares at his reflection, too, in the dark glass of a storefront window. He looks thinner, sharper, older. For a fleeting moment, he wonders when exactly the dream changed shape, when it stopped being something he was chasing and became something chasing him instead. The season continues its quiet march forward, indifferent to intentions, unimpressed by hope. And somewhere beneath the noise of television sets, city traffic, and racing thoughts, a question begins to form, soft at first, then louder with each passing day. What happens when the thing you wanted most is the very thing that's undoing you? Do you want me to continue with part 2? The fall doesn't announce itself all at once. It arrives in pieces. Small humiliations, quiet, compromise, moments that would have seemed unthinkable once, now accepted without protest. By winter, the city feels colder, not just in temperature, but in temperament. Doors close faster. Faces turn away. The world has less patience for dreams that can't support themselves. Harry feels it first in his body. a dull ache in his arm that refuses to fade, a fever that comes and goes. He ignores it the way he has learned to ignore anything that threatens momentum. Stopping still feels more dangerous than going forward. There's always one more deal that might fix everything. One last push that will set things right again. Tyrone isn't as good at pretending. The tension he has carried his entire life tightens into something sharp and constant. When the police finally intervene, it feels less like surprise and more like inevitability. Cold, peppermint handcuffs, biting into skin. The sudden absence of freedom he never realized he valued until it's gone. Inside the holding cell, stripped of distraction and choice, Tyrone's mind drifts backward to a childhood memory of his mother. To warmth, to safety. It is the last place untouched by addiction, and it hurts more than anything else. Marion's descent is quieter, but no less devastating. Her apartment, once filled with light and sketches of a future, grows dim and claustrophobic. The phone calls stop. The money runs out. What remains is Nidrol and Emidia. She tells herself she's still in control, that this is temporary, that she can endure anything if it means surviving the night. Each compromise erodes something essential. Not all at once, just enough to feel herself slipping, piece by piece, into a version she once pitied from a distance. The mirror no longer reflects ambition or creativity. It reflects endurance and shame. Harry's infection worsens. By the time he seeks help, it's no longer a matter of choice. Hospital lights are harsh, unforgiving. Doctors speak in calm, clinical tones that don't soften the truth. The arm that once carried needles, that once reached toward imagined futures, now lies motionless beneath sterile sheets. The dream doesn't shatter here. It simply ends. Sarah's winter is the most silent of all. Her apartment becomes a closed loop of thought and sensation. The television grows louder, more insistent. The lines between programs blur. The hosts feel closer than real people ever did. The pills no longer lift her. They propel her, pushing her mind into relentless motion. Sleep disappears. Hunger is forgotten. The red dress hangs nearby, a constant reminder of a moment that keeps slipping further away even as she chases it harder. Friends try to intervene. Their voices sound distant, distorted, as if coming from another world. Sarah doesn't understand their concern. She is doing what she was told. She is following the rules. If something feels wrong, it must be the world, not her. When she is finally taken to the hospital, it happens not as rescue, but as rupture. White corridors replace the warmth of her apartment. Needles replace pills. Restraints replace routine. The applause she imagined is replaced by the mechanical hum of machines. Her mind fights to hold on to the understanding it built for itself. The game show. The dress. Te promise. They flicker and collapse under the weight of chemical reality. In that moment, Sarah is no longer chasing a dream. She is mourning it. Tyrone's days blur together behind bars, measured by withdrawal and memory. The bravado fades quickly. What remains is pain and reflection. He learns, in the most unforgiving way, that escape without healing is just another form of captivity. Marion reaches a point where there is nothing left to trade but herself. The room is dark. The faces around her are indistinct. Music pulses without warmth. She disconnects, floating somewhere above her own body, watching the final thread of her former self dissolve. Harry wakes from surgery to a smaller world. One less limb. One less future. The space where his plans once lived is now filled with regret, heavy and unavoidable. There is no grand realization, no sudden wisdom, only the quiet understanding that the dream demanded more than he could give. And Sarah, sedated and broken, curls inward on a hospital bed, clutching a memory of her son as if it might still anchor her to something real. In her mind, she is loved. She is applauded. She is finally seen. Reality does not correct her. The film does not offer redemption because that was never its interest. Instead, it holds up a mirror, unflinching to the way desire transforms into dependency, and dependency into annihilation. Each character began with something human and relatable, love, ambition, belonging, validation. None of them set out to be destroyed. But the machinery of addiction does not respond to intention. It responds only to repetition, to hunger, to the lie that relief is the same as fulfillment. In the final moments, they all assume the same position, curled inward, alone, reduced to the smallest possible shape. For lives, once moving toward different dreams, now echoing the same silent posture. It is not a punishment. It is a consequence. And the most unsettling truth the story leaves behind is this: the dream didn't betray them. It did exactly what it promised.